When Rose was born, she was born different. She began to fall on her face when she was trying to walk. Like I said, she had a few words she could say. She lost her ability to talk. She'd have to give her enemas. And then we ran a genetic sequence, and the neurologist said, Casey, your daughter has an ultra rare genetic disease. There is no cure. There's nothing we can do. Good luck. So what was required of me was to learn drug development, was to raise money, was to build a lab, was to figure out if we could solve this problem for her. I had a record deal from Sony sitting on my desk to sign, but I knew I couldn't do both. And so I prayed about it, and I felt in my soul that it's hard for me to talk about because it was a death of everything that I was. I'd spent decades building a successful music career. It's all I ever wanted to do in my life. So I thought, with my suffering child sitting there, knowing that I couldn't have both, I knew I needed to die to myself, my identity, and take on a new path that I had zero understanding of. Nobody, but I can tell you that I felt such a strong feeling, and still do. Like I was saying, Casey, I got you. And I know what that feels like. Like I know what being gotten feels like.
Yeah.
And so doesn't mean I haven't worked my ass off. That's not what that means. It just means that it's the extra courage that I think one needs to leave their entire legacy and career behind and start all over for something that seemed impossible.
But I imagine, and I imagine most people in your position would not have taken, I don't think they would have even come up with the idea, let alone acted on it, something that seemed so impossible. But you had God on your side, and you had. So I was thinking, as a father, going back to the whole thing about men, wanting to be able to fix everything, especially for their children, knowing that Rose couldn't be fixed. What does that do to you internally, like before you decided to do this? And maybe that's why you ultimately decided to do this, because you still wanted to fix it with God's help. And I'm just wondering, what do you feel inside when you know you can't fix it?
I think you're actually nailing it on the head. I wanted to fix it, but I also need to be practical. And the old AA prayer of grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's what true peace is. Can I change the genetic code of my daughter? No, I can't. But science can.